Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 13 of class. We're kind of winding down. Only 2 more weeks of actual class content, and then that last week is just the finals week. Made the announcement and have posted a couple other videos about all of the remaining stuff for the semester. So everything except for next week's weekly video is available for you to start on. I just wanted to upload these last couple weeks and record them right about the time I'm uploading them, just in case something crazy happens for current events or something like that. But other than that, yeah, we're winding down the course. Pretty much everything's there. I do encourage you to start working on that presentation and the final exam ahead of time, just so that it all can get turned in. They're all due the Friday of finals week. Um, I guess the sooner you get that stuff done, the less you have to worry about with everything else going on. So figured I'd just go ahead and give it all to you. Um, but yeah, to talk about this week, um, technology and innovation is the topic that we're going to cover. Obviously, with esports and gaming, technology is at the very core of it because without certain technologies, you couldn't even be playing the video game, let alone compete in it as an esport. Um, yeah, let's flip over and just go through some notes. So, yeah, what we'll go through first here, streaming and broadcast technology. This plays a big part into esports because, um, I mean, yeah, esports is competing, but esports is also entertainment. Um, and there's a lot of ways that streaming and broadcasting can play into that. Twitch and YouTube, games or esports can grow overnight if picked up by top streamers, or if they have the budget to pay top streamers to play them. I think the best example of a game blowing up because it was picked up by a streamer was probably Among Us. That I mean, it just blew up. I think it's actually Soda Poppin. Played Among Us in one of his variety nights, and then it just took off from there and exploded. And now you see it, or not as much anymore, but it was huge. And that was just because someone picked it up and decided to play it, and people were like, "Oh my god, that's sick." Whereas it was just small indie game that people weren't really playing. Same thing can happen for esports, or this can keep like not even just grow, but like sustain. Esports can last much longer than maybe they should have um, if the viewership's there on these platforms, or vice versa. Um, and all of that is thanks to like the accessibility and stuff of Twitch and YouTube, what the algorithms push, what people watch, and things like that too, right? And that kind of ties into the improved streaming quality, lower latency, and new monetization tools have transformed esports into a variable entertainment product. So, um, obviously, uh, the better the stream, the more like actually live it is, the more interaction and stuff you can have with your audiences. Get them there. That's eyes on the product that you sell to sponsors, basically. Another thing, innovations such as co-streaming, multi-angle views, and live stat overlays keep fans more engaged than ever. So I want a big focus on the co-streaming. While that's not necessarily a technology in itself, there are watch parties that legitimately have more viewers than the official broadcast. I saw it happen to League of Legends. Can't remember the content creator's name. But then you see it. Sometimes you see it in Valorant, depending on who's playing. You for sure see it in Call of Duty with Scump. His watch party, even on YouTube, and he's a Twitch streamer. Um, more times than not, will just have more viewers than the actual Call of Duty live broadcast themselves. So those content creators and stuff like that can really be the driving force for some of those leagues. But like full on battle stations for producing exist to kind of make these things more digestible by fans and stuff. Because without without good equipment and good producers and stuff, I think it would be impossible to watch an Overwatch match with just how much goes on, truthfully. Next, performance tools and analytics. This is where a big part of technology plays into. So obviously, track player stats, reaction times, decision making habits in real time. Those are their softwares and stuff that you can do that for your players. Data analytics help teams scout opponents, break down strategies, personalize training plans for players. So this like I'll read this last one before I get to that point. Esports is embracing tools that turn gameplay into measurable performance metrics, not just KD, but other interactions as well. So basically, technology and different tracking, like apps or softwares or things like that, make it so you can pretty much understand and break down every situation of an esports match. And even just so much of that can just be done through VOD, let alone all of these tools to help it, right? So you can see how well a player does in all of their um, like 1v1s, how their reaction time is, or someone peeks at them, or how are they able to react and stuff like that. So there's so much that you can really get down into the nitty gritty thanks to some of these like analyzing softwares, tools, and stuff like that, right? Next, hardware and game technology. So hardware itself, I mean, like you can get super nerdy um, about keyboards and mice and not even just DPI, but like megahertz and stuff like that for your mouse. How fast it reacts, the actuation of your keyboard, and if yours is slower than the other person, like that can literally make a difference when it comes to really high level esports. Same thing for monitors. Depending on like what computer and stuff you're using, you want to be able to get the most um, out of your frames for some of those like FPSs and stuff like that. Like you really want to like make sure that your monitor not only has a high refresh rate, but it's enabled um, on the monitor, and you don't think you're playing in 140 hertz because that's what it says how many frames you're getting when your monitor was actually on 60 the whole time. It happens a lot. Um, but a lot of technology there that can help enable that because when you have a keyboard that actuates as soon as you press it, and a mouse that is instantly going to be where you are and where you want to be, it's super important for that really high level gameplay. But then flip side, some of the other like game technology developers build more spectator friendly features to improve the broadcast and in-person viewing experience. A lot of this is just on the professional level, and it's unfortunate that they don't always release all of these tools um, for others to use. Um, but yeah, lots of clients or like podcasters, a great example. You literally are in there as a spectator and can control everything in terms of overlays and stuff just in the game without even having to add extra stuff, like say the actual stream, and like less work on your producer for the stream, but maybe a little bit more work on some of your observers and stuff like that. A lot of really cool things that can happen just in game, not even talking about incorporating stuff into OBS or other things like that. Other Another thing to talk about, like emerging technologies, augmented reality, virtual reality. Um, you could start to see competitive games in events and stuff in there. Like little kids literally live in VR. It is insane. I think that's exactly what I wrote there on the paper. Um, but like I recently did a career fair for my little brother who is in second grade, talking about how I'm a head esports coach, and I'm like, okay, who plays video games? And they all raise their hand, and I'm like, okay, what's your favorite video game? Half the class said Gorilla Tag on their VR. And like, yeah, no, like you can compete in Gorilla Tag. They have like tournaments and stuff, and like the kids are playing virtual reality. I like 4 5 years ago tested like this like VR shooter where there's a bunch of platforms that you jump in between and it's a 3v3, so like there's leagues and stuff out there. It's just not super mainstream. So thinking about how VR and then further into like augmented reality or something like that could push like esports or competitive games. Because like straight up, imagine like with augmented reality, yeah, you put on a pair of glasses and you can play Yu-Gi-Oh, just like they did, in the show, right? Where all of the monsters and card effects and stuff happen in real time in front of you. How could that play into different leagues or stuff that happen, that you could show people? Um, some really cool possibilities there, um, with some of these new technologies, specifically AR, VR, AI. Um, the AI is in everything, and it has been for many years. Now it's just this buzzword that I feel like you're obligated to talk about when it comes to new technologies, even though it's been there. And it's just general big umbrella buzzword AI. But like power coaching bots, smarter matchmaking, anti cheat, all of this already exists. Honestly, when it comes to so much of this, um, it's just how it can be incorporated further. Specifically, maybe with like some of the LLMs, you're seeing how that can like start breaking down things for players more, give them like something a little more actionable and not just be running in the background through code and stuff like that. There's a lot of ways that it could affect, um, and change things going forward. Next thing, wearable tech, biometrics, offer insight into player health, stress levels, and focus during matches. This already exists, and it's only going to keep getting better. Whoop does this really cool thing, at least for professional golfers, where they'll like release the heart rate of Rory McIlroy when he made the putt to win the Masters, kind of thing. So you can kind of break down and see that like he was able to calm himself to like so many BPM, hits a putt, and then it just instantly spikes because he's watching, waiting for it to go in. So some really cool stuff there that could be incorporated even further um, into player performance. So that's pretty much the gist of at least what we'll cover for technology and innovation. I feel like for some of these topics, they're just such these really big, broad things. So what I've tried to do over the course of the semester is pick a few like highlights in them and really dive into them. You guys have a couple questions to answer that I think can hopefully help with this. Um, Standard a few questions for this week. Trying to keep these questions light over this last week. Different assignment tomorrow, and then present or not tomorrow, next week, and then presentation final and stuff. So this isn't like super intense. Want to give you guys some like bandwidth to be able to work on some of those bigger projects, but just some good things to think about and how some of these technologies and stuff can impact the future of esports gaming, um, events, things like that. If you have any questions, please reach out. I think this is the third video I'm recording and posting today. So like I said, if you have any questions, everything's on its own kind of like dedicated page and stuff. But um, yeah, keep me updated. Make sure you're working on that presentation and that final. And I will get another video posted for you guys next week. Thanks.